Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. for a little Kings Roundtable here for the next hour with Frankie Cartoscelli wearing his Yankee gear. Maybe we'll get into that. And Brenden Nunes, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Fellas, how's it going?
Nervous.
Why?
I'm on Juan Soto watch right now.
We've been talking about it since we walked in the building.
Juan Soto in that Little League ballpark will
Are
probably...
we really gonna do this
No,
right now?
No, I will say this. A lot of people get on the Yankees for that ballpark and how tiny it is. Like Pony League, not Little League, Pony League. When really the Red Sox, their right field is just as bad, or I think might be technically worse. And nobody gives the Red Sox any grief, but the Yankees, they're basically the same size.
How about their right field corner too? The pesky pole is about 298 from home plate. Just saying. So the whole short porch or Little League ballpark.
Right, they both have very short right fields, but nobody talks about the Red Sox, only the Yankees.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. It's the same way. I mean, for the away team gets to bat too. Like it's the same thing. So
it's like Colorado.
I'm just saying I don't want to spend too much time or dwell on it because I've been dwelling on it since last night, and I'm sure my girlfriend is sick of me talking about they could trade. But I'm definitely on Juan Soto watch today.
You know what's going to happen? The Yankees are going to get Juan Soto, and just like the rest of your lineup, he's going to forget how to hit a curveball.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting him to hit 250. He's like been a great walk guy. His walks are going to finally level out. He's going to strike out more than he walks next year. Just the Yankee curse. But, people out there rolling their eyes, Yankee curse. I get it. The Yankees are privileged. I get it.
Right. He never had facial hair, so I don't think there's any issues there.
Nope. He'll fit. He will fit in beautifully.
I'm so done with that.
It's so weird.
I can't believe in 2023 that's okay.
So weird.
Honestly, that's the one thing I grew up a Yankee guy. I never understood that at all. Like let people be themselves. Like it's kind of crazy. You're gonna control them like they're children.
With a shaved face.
Well, I always right, exactly. You're with your you look like you're about to try out right now.
I'm the only guy here that a beard. I just realized, but I can't grow a strong beard. All right, I've tried.
What I think it is a little bit of it is that if you did grow up and now you're on the Yankees, honestly, I think a lot of players want to do it. It sounds crazy.
Want to shave
and be a part of
the
culture.
lore.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to be that first person to go against it. Because if Aaron Judge, I think he can get a little scruff action going. But if Aaron Judge wanted to go long hair, don't care, like Lil Wayne or back in the day, they're not telling him anything.
Well,
I think it's part of it.
There was the edits last year when Judge was a free agent. People were like, "Oh my God, I saw Aaron Judge at the airport. And he had a fake beard that was clearly like someone did it in like Photoshop. Clearly, was not. I don't think he can grow a beard either. So like, you can tell when guys have like the shadow coming in.
That's
like,
right.
The strong shadow. But no, I think that it's a dumb rule. And there have been guys that have come out and said like, no, like I'm not gonna shave my hair or cut my hair. Whatever. I think Marcus Stroman's a guy too who's just like, I'm never gonna play like for that clown franchise.
We sat in trainings yesterday that pretty much told us that is you cannot force your employees to do that.
That's
so
right.
What is going on here? I don't know what is going on here.
Steinbrenner family, you might want to think about it.
Yeah. They clearly are. They doing it every 2 years? Are they doing the training? It does not.
It's California.
No, it does not seem like it. All right, guys. So, Brenden, you wrote a piece on the Stockton Kings. What do you see from them? And they made a move yesterday. Why don't you get into what you're seeing from the Stockton Kings and how quickly we may see some of those guys in Sacramento?
Yeah, they just traded for Stanley Johnson yesterday, which, I heard some people kind of being like, oh, maybe this is a Sacramento thing. I would highly doubt it. But you never know. I think that the point of Stockton is that there's guys down there that can get an opportunity. Like you look at Keon Ellis and what he did last year. He came in, he didn't really play much point guard at all at Alabama. They developed him as a point guard last year, and he's coming in. He's a backup point guard right now. And they're trying to do the same thing for Colby Jones. He said at Summer League he didn't play point guard that much at Xavier. And now they're trying to just slowly work him into that. And we've seen a lot of guys. We've seen Deontay Burton get a 10-day last year. He was on the Summer League team. Even at training camp, same with Chance Comanche. Jeremy Lamb is down there. Say Jeremy Lamb gets in a rhythm and all of a sudden you have an open roster spot and he seems kind of intriguing. There still is that process of getting into the rhythm. Not saying he's looked amazing. He's looked fine. But no, I think Stockton has a good roster and they're very committed to clearly like they just want to win at all levels. And that's, you can see it in like, obviously they're spending a little bit relative to G League on this roster. They have a lot of guys with NBA experience.
Real quick, I wanted to go deeper into the Colby Jones and the Keon Ellis. What is it with the Kings and this whole point guard situation? Is it a NBA basketball wide thing where classic point guards just aren't coming out the way they used to, or are the Kings, their mindset, you know how different teams will draft differently, their mindset is we're going to get a guard that can do whatever and we feel like we can turn them into a point guard?
I do think there's an aspect of it being like a general NBA thing, but I don't think every team has the personnel to really do it. It's really just Domantas Sabonis, right? Like you're getting the ball down the floor, getting into his hands, and then running your free flowing offense. All you have to really do is be able to bring the ball up the floor. Right. And Keon can do that. I still think that weirdly is like something Kobe's working on. We see him get it poked away a little bit. It's just going to be a little bit of a process. But it just has to do with Domas because De'Aaron comes off the floor early. That backup point guard's playing a lot with Sabonis. And then by the time that Domas comes out, De'Aaron is coming back in. So the backup point guard is almost always playing with Sabonis.
What have you thought, about just Colby Jones's development too for both of you guys? Because we saw him in the rotation, like to pretty much start the season pretty early. And it seems like, after that Houston back-to-back where they lost and Colby did kind of get stripped a couple times as that backup point guard, it just felt like I don't think we've really seen much of him at all since then. And of course, he's a second round pick. He's a young guy in his career, but just where do you kind of see or even just hope his development goes throughout this year?
I think at the time, Mike Brown was kind of trying some new things out because at that moment, Kevin Huerter was really struggling going through it. I think Malik Monk hadn't really turned it on to the point, definitely not to where he is right now, playing the best basketball of the season, obviously, but just kind of searching for things. And obviously he's young, he's a rookie, an older rookie. I know that Monty McNair has a knack of bringing in guys that are in their early 20s already. I think he's 21 already or 22. But I think it's just a matter of they don't really have a need for him right now. I think that when you have Kevin Huerter playing well, Malik Monk playing well, Keon Ellis is getting his opportunity, and I think that he's kind of earned that shot right now. Davion Mitchell's getting a lot of DNP CDs. Colby Jones is right now, they're opting to go to Stockton, give him the repetition he needs, and he's playing well. The numbers are really good, and I think some people take those with a grain of salt, the G League numbers, but I think with Colby Jones, it's not just G League. It's been Summer League, preseason. He had a really good showing there, and even in the NBA, like the numbers aren't horrible. They're very small sample size, but he hasn't looked lost out there. He looks like he knows what to do out there, and I think that he's a part of the future. It's just, what does that future look like? There's some people that might not be here over the next couple of years, as we know. A lot of talk about what the roster looks like, and it gets louder after losses, obviously, the talk about Harrison Barnes fit, Davion Mitchell, obviously, the bench. But I think one thing that's true is Colby Jones has looked good wherever the Kings have put him. But right now it's a matter of playing time, and you don't want guys like him who are young and inexperienced to kind of just sit on the bench and waste away. Well, not waste away, but just kind of waste opportunities where they could be spending in Stockton.
Yeah, and with Colby Jones, again, the same way we have that conversation about him and the different guards, and we talk about the point guards or lack thereof, what seems to be the path, or I guess the plan? You look at all the guards we just talked about with Davion and Keon and Colby. Jordan Ford, who I believe had a pretty darn good game when you guys went this past weekend. What do you think is if Jordan Ford, they have the end of the season conversations, or if they were to have a mid-season or early mid-season conversation with Jordan Ford, and Jordan Ford walked into your office and he said, hey, what's the plan for me? Based on what you've seen, what do you think the plan for him is?
I mean, I think it's what it is for a lot of guys that are towards the end of the rotation is kind of just wait. And at some point you're going to get an opportunity. And maybe that means a year like we saw for Keon last year, where that's going to mean like 2 games throughout the course of the year, but really prove it in G League. And then we'll slowly work you up, or prove it in practice. Now that he got promoted to a 2A, he's another good example of why Stockton's important. And then maybe, the same way that we saw like Davion Mitchell disappoint, you never know what's going to happen. And Coach Brown wants to go in a different direction. And I think that's the path, right? Because Jordan has his things he does well. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's a really good finisher. He looks a lot more composed, and he's trying to be passable on the defensive end. He's 6'1". That's going to be a tough thing, but he's really trying to embrace that. But it's going to take time. And honestly, it probably would take some other guys disappointing a little bit that coach wants to look in another direction.
Yeah, but if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And it seems like he is starting to do that. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, more of Kings Roundtable. We were in the G League. Now we head to the big leagues. And maybe, just maybe, we will bust out the trade machine with our guys, the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Frankie, Cartoscelli, and Brenden, Nunes. And it's a roundtable. We can still take your calls. We can still take your texts. Be a part of the conversation. If you have a question For the guys, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The holiday season is right around the corner, so give the gift that's hard to wrap but easy to give. Give them a Stihl. With powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws to place under the tree, the Stihl Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Save $30 on the GTA 26 battery-powered garden pruner. Visit your local Stihl dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real Stihl. Find yours. Now $149.99 was $179.99 MSRP. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Subcontractors, grow your business with more leads and leverage your marketing costs to receive over 10 times the value in advertising. Subcontractors United is offering 40 home services contractors to join our advertising co-op. For under $2,100 a month, you'll share in over $83,000 a month in advertising. That's $1 million a year in advertising for under $2,100 a month. There's only 3 subcontractors per category, not 3,000, so lead potential is unlimited. Google Subcontractors United for more information.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Kings Roundtable. Went G League in the first segment. Who knows where we'll go next with Frankie Cartoscelli and Brenden Nunes, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. And I was messing with the guys, showing them some trade generators. And I'm not even going to talk about it on there, but just know
you can't mention
if it gets
got one in the chamber.
If the Kings keep messing around, That is my ace up my sleeve. That is when no. You know when you right in a movie or something, there's the red button, there's glass, press in case of emergency. If the Kings keep messing around, I will break the glass and I will press the button.
I don't think it's as easy as breaking the glass. There's like a chain going on.
No,
there's
I'm
high-level security.
No, I'll get a jackhammer and I'm going to take care of it.
That button's not going to work anyway.
Well, it's going to work somewhere. Trust me. Trust me on that one.
That's hilarious.
All right, guys. So I know we're a couple days removed here, but did want to get your thoughts on what the heck happened in Sacramento or in Golden 1 against New Orleans, and the idea of a team just being a quote unquote bad matchup. Because I it's not that I disagree with it, but I don't really know what to do with that. It's feeling a little bit cop-outy to me. And if it's not a cop-out, what do the Kings do?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, in particular, I'm looking at the 3-point shooting more than I think Brenden Ingram scoring 30. That's kind of been a theme. Like Brenden Ingram has been a Kings killer, but Zion Williamson, the Kings did a good job of taking him out of the games. 10 points. That to me was in their favor. I kind of could turn things in their way. But when you start off 7-11 from 3 in the first quarter, it looked like the Kings were on their way to a win. I think we all kind of felt good when the Kings went off that big run. I think they led by double digits in the first quarter. Obviously, New Orleans makes a run, and then the final 3 quarters, Kings go 7 of 30, 23%. We've seen that in Kings losses this year a little bit, how when they struggle from 3, they don't really try to switch things up much. They try to shoot through it. And sometimes they do, and it ends up working out well. But the shots just did not fall. And De'Aaron Fox obviously was an uncharacteristic game for him. I think 6 turnovers. He 2 of 12 to start from the field. I think that second quarter really just kind of shot them in the foot. And in the end, that really was a difference. But I think that the matchup situations and the struggles we saw wasn't really as prevalent as it was the first 2 games in New Orleans. Still is a problem for the Kings. Obviously, they really do struggle with teams that have length, like Minnesota, New Orleans, and down the line. But I think that really, to me, the 3-point shooting was really just brutal. They missed a lot of good looks down the stretch.
Yeah, and sometimes that's going to happen. I do think it exposes a little bit of sort of the roster flaw, quote unquote, only when we're trying to talk about eventual championship contention. Like, this is a very good team. I'm just picking flaws of, if you're trying to take this next step, where does it need to happen? It's like, what you're getting from Sabonis. At this point, you know what you're getting from Malik, and you know what you're getting from De'Aaron. To Frankie's point, I thought it was an uncharacteristic game for De'Aaron, and it's funny that you look down, he's got 30 and 6 or 30 and 4 and 5. It's those 6 turnovers, though.
Adding list stats.
Oh.
Accused by
I don't know.
No, not me. I would never accuse De'Aaron of that. He was the game was still in reach.
Yeah.
But he got
double digits in that fourth.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's those 6 turnovers. He only had 4 in his season high leading up to that. He was averaging a career low 2 coming into that game. And, Kings are leading 4.5-minute mark, 32-17 of that first quarter. De'Aaron, not long after checking back in, kind of lined up with when New Orleans went with that Ingram and then full bench lineup. Alvarado got 2 steals on him. He had 2 other turnovers. They're all live ball turnovers, leads to 6 points. Again, like uncharacteristic for De'Aaron, but I feel like the same way when I'm critical of a guy and he does something good, I need to mention it. It goes vice versa, right? De'Aaron's been amazing. This was an area where maybe he let it slip away a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of touch on something that Alan said there. Like, it feels like there might just be a roster flaw on this team, which is interesting because the team is good. Like, the Kings are 11-8 right now. They're 6th seed. They've got really quality wins against Dallas, OKC, Denver, Minnesota. They're a good team, but I think it's clear to everyone who's watched this team this year that they do just have a hole in that 6'8", 6'9", long, rangy wing. And there's teams, especially at the top of the Western Conference, where you look at Minnesota, they've got I almost said Jared Vanderbilt, McDaniels, who the Kings didn't see in their matchup against Minnesota. OKC is a team that has crazy length. Denver is a team that has Michael Porter Jr. and they're built a little bit more like the Kings. But the Lakers, I saw Jared Vanderbilt was playing yesterday. They obviously have LeBron. Point is, there's tons of teams in the Western Conference, I'm just talking, that have guys that you feel like you would need somebody who fits that profile in order to defend. We've seen the Kings struggle guarding LeBron. We've seen them struggle guarding Brandon Ingram, Zion. Does it not feel like the Kings have to make a move at some point this year if they want to be serious about, kind of like Brenden said, about actual contention?
I mean, I think that I have to say the short answer, yes. I think that if they want to put themselves in position to contend, yeah. I mean, I think that the personnel you have, just you're maximizing, I think, everyone that you have that can plug that hole. I mean, Mike will throw in Kessler Edwards, who does an admirable job on, I think most of the times we see him, which we might see him Friday in Phoenix, Mike Brown will go to Kessler Edwards against Devin Booker a lot. He went to Kessler against Anthony Edwards. But if that's your guy you have to throw out there in a situation against a, top scorer in the league, that's kind of a problem, in my opinion. And Harrison Barnes, I think, is getting a lot of flack right now on social media, and he's getting a lot of, and again, on a night where he was one of the primary defenders in Zion Williamson, and he scored 10 points.
Yeah.
His shortcomings on offense are coming into focus when that's not really the role Harrison Barnes is in, but I'm sure we'll talk about him later. But yeah, they need a guy that is a dynamic defender who can go and guard the 3s and 4s around the league, and a guy that you can kind of throw out there that cannot be a negative on the offensive end as well, which is what Kessler Edwards has been so far in his brief Kings career. So yeah, I think that as the year goes on, if the Kings are still kind of hovering around that 5 to 9, 10 situation, because it's a very tight Western Conference, maybe this is the time to make that move, because we talked about it before. And I think a lot of people that talk about the Kings everywhere, that this team probably isn't the final product we're going to see if this Kings team is going to reach that peak. They really do need that one more big piece. It's just, we talked about it last week too. I think you're going to have to break it up. You're going to have to break up this group in order to get that piece, and it's going to sting a little bit.
Yeah, I think that is becoming more and more apparent as we get ready to see what the Kings are going to do against the Suns team, who, there was Kevin Durant saying, hey, it's not on the loose ball call. There was a turnover, and Devin Booker deletes his IG post when he initially was complaining about it, which is just funny in itself. And you have a team who, you look at a guy, and I know none of us liked him at Duke, but I don't want to be that guy because I make fun of those guys.
He's good, though.
But I did say, don't sleep on Grayson Allen going to the Suns. I know a lot of us just don't like the guy from when he was tripping and doing things like that. 21 points last night. He's getting legitimate minutes on this Suns team, which maybe in part is because of Bradley Beal being hurt. And we can talk about what type of deal the Suns actually did, because Bradley Beal was hurt a lot in Washington anyway. It just feels like all of these teams have a counterpunch when something goes wrong, and the Kings don't. And they still lost the game, the Suns did. But, if Grayson Allen is the Kings' Malik Monk, okay, that's cool. But you still have that premium at the top. You have premium scoring with Durant and Devin Booker, and even Nurkic, who I remember Nurkic being more offensively abled, right, before he got to the Suns. He's just not really needed in that capacity. I just look around the different rosters and different starting lineups in the West, and the person wearing the most purplish shades out there cannot see this team and think this is going to get it done. Not if championship is now the goal, right? You made it to the playoffs. Let's see what we can do. This roster is just not good enough.
I think there's a difference between, like, it's obviously the goal, but I don't think that it needs to be so, like, it has to happen this year.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
Well, I get you're not, like, saying that, but, like, if they stay the same place as last year, okay, so I agree they need to make a move. Mm-hmm. The 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there needs to be upgraded. Mm-hmm. Honestly, like Keegan, I heard Mark Spears talking about this with, I think, Drive Guys yesterday. Keegan's been pretty disappointing this year. Like, defensively progress, rebounding progress, and passing progress. Offensively, he's not getting it done when there was so much hype around his potential development there. And you just don't know what you're going to be getting there from that 2, 3, 4 on a nightly basis. And defensively, you could use some improvements, but I think that you're probably trying to look for a third star, say like a 3-headed snake you're trying to get here with De'Aaron Domas and X player. And it's going to take a lot of assets to do it. And I think you have to be patient and make sure it's the right guy. And say that doesn't come up this year, then I don't think you just do it or go make some smaller move that uses some assets and makes that bigger trade more difficult down the line. Like, in my mind, I'm big fish hunting, and I need to save my bait, even if that means for next season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good point too, just because of the fact that you do have your guys under contract. You have Fox and Sabonis under contract, and then Harrison Barnes, who I'm assuming would be a piece moved in that deal because of financial restraints for the Kings have. He'll be a 1 more year into his 3-year deal, so that's an easier contract to move. So yeah, there could be some pressure that mounts this year, and they do need to make a move. But yeah, I could also see it happening in the offseason. I could see them making a big trade in the summer. But I think that is a good point because the Kings, they don't have pressure or guys that are expiring and they don't have to maximize. Like there's a window to maximize, of course. I look at it as like a 3 to 5 year window. Like you have the De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis Sabonis, Mike Brown, Monte McNair, they're all on similar timelines. Sabonis obviously longer now after his extension, but it's not as much of a 9-1-1 as it would be maybe a year ago. If Sabonis hadn't signed that extension, which again, that's a whole different conversation as far as what you think about it or how people feel about it. But if he was an expiring contract right now and he was playing it, like if he was a Scott Boras, to go back to baseball, a Scott Boras client, and there's kind of saying, yeah, we're waiting until we get to the summer. We're not doing extensions right now. Maybe that puts more pressure on the Kings to make a move because it's okay. What they lose Sabonis for nothing. Yeah. Right now they're in a position to just kind of say, hey, okay, here's what we have. This is a good core. They're a good team. Again, as crazy as things seem sometimes when you look at social media, which maybe that's just, I should look at social media that much, but the Kings are in a good spot. They're actually in a better spot right now, 19 games than they were last year. So I think that it's a good point from Brenden that there really isn't a 9-1-1, but if they're looking to maximize this year, yeah, but we don't know how Monte McNair and Wes Wilcox are gonna handle that so far.
Well, there are a couple ways to look at this, right? And not to continue to bring up baseball, but even as Giants fans, I mean, the NL West is a complete mess right now. You have the Dodgers who aren't going anywhere, the Diamondbacks who just went to the World Series. So the question is now, and then the Padres who are supposed to be good. So do we wait it out and let these guys have their time in the sun, or do we be a part of that action? I think you can look at this the same way in the Western Conference and say, okay, the Western Conference is a mess right now. So is there a rush? But at the same time, you have the Suns who can't seem to get fully healthy. You have the Nuggets who can't seem to get fully healthy with Jamal Murray. The Lakers are a mess. You don't want to wait for the Lakers to maybe make a big move. The Warriors, they're AARP. We think they're okay for now. They're not doing anything this season. So maybe you strike now and you have the Mavericks and the Thunder are only going to get better. The Grizzlies are going to get job back next season. So I get it. There's always going to be competition. But I do think that if you do look around, it's a mess in the West, but there are also a couple opportunities. I am not of the mindset that the Nuggets are going to go on a Warriors type run at all. Right. And I'm a little bit lower on the Nuggets than some are. I think that they lost some pieces. So they have a decision to make. It's very similar to, that guy that you try to talk to that's always busy. And every time you try to talk to him, they say, hey, we'll do it later. I'm busy right now. I'm busy right now. At some point, you just got to say, no, I want to talk tomorrow. Because you're always going to be busy, right? And the West is always going to be competitive, so you got to make a decision. Got to get to a break is what we got to do right now, as Nate tells me, and we got to get back to our Kings Roundtable in a bit of a break with Brenden, Nunes, and Frankie Cartoscelli, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Discover Roseville's hidden gem. Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersatTheLodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Did you know one of the worst things you can do is turn on your furnace after it's been sitting there all summer, gathering dust, without giving it a thorough tune-up first?
Think about it. What if your car had been sitting in the garage for 6 months without ever running?
Any piece of machinery that's been sitting needs to be tuned up. So call Bell Brothers. We'll tune up your furnace for just $87 and guarantee the results.
We guarantee that your tuned-up furnace will save you $87 on your energy bills. And we guarantee that your tuned-up furnace won't break down during the season, or we'll immediately refund your money. No questions asked.
Don't delay. Small problems that are easy and inexpensive to fix can quickly turn into big, expensive problems.
Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule your furnace tune-up at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Amazon will be delivering packages to your house. Let Amazon deliver customers to your business. If that sounds good and you want more in 2024, simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. But it's not just Stiles and Watkins. We are joined by our Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Brenden, Nunes, and Frankie Cartoscelli. And they, we need help here. Colin, I see you, Stephen, get to you in a second. Trying to raise the guys is how they feel right now. Because they'd be in Vegas right now. You'd be in Vegas right now.
We're torn.
If it wasn't for Grand Theft Alvarado, you'd be in Vegas. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. All the length in the world.
From a serious standpoint, he really did change the tone of that game.
It's weird how like a 6-foot defender can really make an impact like that.
No comment.
As soon as he got away with the corner sneak and steal thing, where he hides in the corner, and I knew the game.
I love
was
that
over.
the crowd started to like get louder to try to let him know.
Yeah.
Kieran was probably so confused.
Yeah.
And then you find out real quick.
It hurts that it happened to the Kings. So I've watched like the highlight reel. I think Rob Perez puts it together, and I'm like always laughing at. Like, oh, did they really fall for that? And then it just happens to the Kings.
He hid right in front of De'Aaron's wife.
Yeah.
And I guarantee she was screaming at De'Aaron.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm thinking? Do you think, and we would have to get the breakdown. Do you think it happens more on the road because the other team is louder, the crowd is louder? I don't know, because if it's at home, maybe the other team has the ball, right? So maybe if it's at home, you could hear from your bench, but De'Aaron couldn't hear anything, I'm sure, and it was right next to his bench.
I definitely heard people screaming like it
from their bench,
not from their bench, no. But I just think that at home, I think maybe the noise kind of blends in more, and I mean, I don't know. It's a tough question. I haven't watched enough Pelicans games to know how often he does it or how often he tries it and it doesn't work, I think is the better question. How often does it not work for him?
Right. The issue is that everybody knows this is a thing. Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of just a mental lapse that like, make sure when you're looking down the court that you see 5 defenders is all.
You got to have someone, you got to be reminded.
It's a funny play. It's creative.
Is it Bush League?
No,
Yes.
no, it's fine.
Is it Bush League?
Yes. I mean, that's like super.
When he's like really crouching down in the corners when it's kind of crazy. This one, he just kind of stood there and bent over a little bit. Like
he was kind of like, you could tell he was
hiding a little bit
on the prowl for sure.
I don't think it's Bush League.
No, I like a.
It's not.
I think it is.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying he should like get an elbow for it,
Yeah.
but I think like it's something that it's like, all right.
I would
like,
definitely.
It's a little bit of, again, it's like your little brother would do that if
Yeah,
you're, if you're playing against them to try. Like that's something you do when you're trying to get the edge because, you can't beat somebody straight up, which is fine.
And
That's,
I'd be
again,
mad.
that's what make Jose Alvarado.
But to me, it is no more bush league than flopping.
Sure, but flopping also sucks. I mean, just because it happens doesn't mean it should be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like a matter of it. If it's your team, it's great. It's fun.
Right.
I love watching that. And then if it's
what an idiot those guys are.
Not your team, it's really annoying. And it is really annoying.
Well,
really
now to
annoying.
take it back to pickup, right? You just started a game, so you don't know. You're not playing with your buddies. It's a random 4 other guys. You just get in the game, and somebody yells ball, and you pass it to them, and it's on the other team. That was always a long-standing conversation, whether that's bush league or not. And they'll say, "Hey, well, know who's on your team."
Yeah.
And you're not playing shirts and skins or whatever. You don't know who is who, and they're like, ball, and you pass it to them, and your team is mad at you. But it happens so quick, nobody's saying don't pass it.
That's cheap.
I would say
really
that's
cheap.
bush league.
I do that.
Of course,
you do that.
People you just.
I am judging.
No,
you.
well, I don't know.
You're an instigator. You're an
I
instigator.
am for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
If it happened to me, I'd be super bad about it. Yeah.
It's
not
so
like
trash.
you're wrong for that. I'd just be annoyed with myself for falling for it.
You guys are trying to start fights with strangers playing pickup.
If you're not cheating, you're not
You
trying
just
to win.
don't believe in your own abilities. That's what that tells me. You gotta try.
It's a
and
mental
cheat.
game. It's a mental game.
Wow.
Definitely gets me more upset. It definitely makes me want to
It's
beat
working.
you more.
It's
That's for
working.
sure.
Well, you just got to take that extra second. If it happens, it's kind of honestly happens once.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Happens twice.
Absolutely.
Shame on me. If you get it again, and then it's like, okay, you do have to pay attention here. The first one, cool, because probably early. It's only 2-0.
Right.
You can still come back.
Right.
But if it happens and it's game point, that's on you, brother. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Steven, you got a question for the guys. It's Kings Roundtable with Frankie, Cartoscelli, and Brenden Nunes. What you got for us?
Good morning, boys.
Morning.
My favorite episode of the week.
Hey,
there you go.
Right.
Man, gotta love the Kings Roundtable. Okay, this could potentially be a dumb question, but you know what? I'm gonna ask it anyway. All right. I asked the boys over at on the Drive Guys yesterday, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' take on it. So, free ball isn't hitting. Why don't they start driving the basket and hitting twos instead? I understand that 3 is more than 2. And I understand that, like, shooters are going to shoot, and they could possibly shoot themselves out of a slump once they see that first one go in. But if the 3 is just not hitting, why do we not see the guys just switch it up a little bit, start driving the basket? Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Steven.
Who wants to handle that one?
I mean, I think that they go hand in hand is kind of what it comes down to, right? Is that like the shooting has to be there in order to enable the driving. And like you look at those 3 guys that we're talking about, that's not De'Aaron and Domas, Kevin, Harrison, and Keegan. These are shooters. Like, not that they can't cut and play off of their gravity and just in that free flowing offense, but they're shooters. And like, I kind of think it's on De'Aaron and Domas and Malik, really, the 3 to get into the paint and make plays from there. And if you see an opportunity, then go for it. But I mean, they shot 38 shots in the paint last night in that game against the Pelicans. They just only made 19 of them, so the rate wasn't going down great. I think De'Aaron does a great job at it. Again, Domas and Malik, those are the 3 that I think like you trust off the dribble. All the others are like backdoor cuts, so I think the 3 is just such naturally a part of their offense because they're so good at it and they have shooters.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of switching things up, like we talked about earlier, switching things up when they aren't working, because the Kings are a top 5 3-point shooting team in the league as far as makes go, but they're 20th in 3-point percentage. When the shots aren't falling, you kind of got to switch things up and attack more, because I was wondering where they are in points in the paint. They're 19th in points in the paint this year, which I feel like that's a little low when you have De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis on your team. And I think maybe being more aggressive on that end. And of course, Keegan Murray has not been healthy and he's been struggling. And Harrison Barnes, who I think is very good when he's downhill and going towards the paint, isn't doing that because he's now a 5th option. So I think that's a good point. I think I would like to see the Kings be a little more aggressive and getting in the paint because, like Brenden pointed out, it's kind of De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk right now, and Sabonis when he's on. But the Kings as a team really rely on the 3-point shot more than anything.
Yeah, that's super interesting because it's definitely, I mean, I know we all played some sort of like elementary or fundamental basketball.
You've seen the max preps.
And
you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen Frankie's max preps, yo. It's crazy. But we all know, like, you're taught growing up, like, if your shot's not falling as a team, get to the rim. You can't keep shooting. You're not going to shoot yourself out of it. And I wonder if that's one of those things that I think everybody kind of fundamentally has instilled in them. And by the time you get to the NBA, is that still a fact? Like, getting to the rim is a tough task to do. Yeah. Like, not everyone's able to do it. For some guys, kind of to Brendan's point, like, it's might be better for Kevin Huerter to try and work through his slump shooting threes than trying to get to the rim, just because he might not be able to do that. Like, he might just be such an elite shooter that 3-point shot might be better than a Kevin Huerter contested layup. Like, I would much rather have Keegan Murray take a leaning three than trying to really do anything in the paint.
And that's kind of how the Kings are built. They are two very good, De'Aaron Fox is very good at penetrating the paint and scoring, which he does. Domantas Sabonis can bruise around and get in the paint and score. And then you have three shooters. You have Harrison Barnes, you have Kevin Huerter, and you have Keegan Murray. Two of those, Kevin Huerter and Keegan Murray, were two of the top 6 3-point shooters in the NBA last year as far as like 3-point makes and percentage. So it's kind of how the Kings are built. But yeah, Kevin Huerter has been doing a little more of driving, and I think he did some decent work in the paint the last couple of games. But I completely agree. I'd rather see those guys get going from three. And Keegan Murray, who struggled, I think the Kings really need him to knock down those shots as well. But I think it's the other guys too, like Trey Lyles can knock down the three, we all know, but he's a guy that can also cause damage in the paint when he's playing. Harrison Barnes, again, fifth option, but maybe being a little more aggressive going down when the Kings are stagnant on offense and the threes aren't falling. I'd rather see Harrison Barnes drive than force a shot. So yeah, it's just kind of how the Kings are built, but 19th in points in the paint is not ideal.
I do think the 3-point percentage is just going to be a little lower this year, partially because De'Aaron is taking a lot more threes. And like, I think they're going down at a good rate. I like that he's taking them. Sometimes they're a little too sweet for me, but I think that's part of the process here in my mind. But 8.2, 35.7 a game, or 8.2, 35.7%. Yeah, and then that's their leader in 3-point attempts per game.
Yeah.
And then right after that, you get to Keegan Murray right above 7. He's only knocking down 30%, which I feel like is not being talked about very much. And like, that's fine because we all are confident that's going to come back. Right. But that is definitely playing a part here too.
Another side note with the 3-point shooting, as my microphone falls away from me. Kings are 3-7 this year when they shoot under 35% from three. They shoot obviously 34 on Monday night. So, it's a lot of forcing, I think, when they aren't falling and trying to kind of help you get back on the right track. And when they don't, things go off the rails pretty quick.
Yeah, I found that number when I was doing the post-game live stream. They shot 35%, I think, on the nose in Houston. They lost that game. But every game they've shot above 35.1% from three. I believe they are 8 or 9-0 in those games. So it really does seem like, to kind of what we've been talking about for this whole time, it does really feel like it's as simple as Kings hit their shots. They're probably going to play well and look more like the team that we expect them to be. They don't hit their shots. They don't have a counter to go to. They're not driving the rim. They're not hitting
the defense.
They just
Mike
become
Brown would
pretty
say,
one-dimensional.
Then we should just be able to guard people so we can win games when we're not hitting shots.
And I would say that's helped them win some quality games. Like, I don't think they win as many or have as many quality wins this year if they are playing the style that they were last year. Right?
Yeah,
I don't think you beat Denver. I don't think you beat the Minnesotas of the world if you don't play defense and you just try and do what the Pacers are doing this year or what the Kings did last year.
Yeah, and going back to what Frankie was saying when it comes to, warming up, can Huerter shoot some twos or the counterpunch of what Steven said? Very similar to baseball as well. If you're slumping, you want to shorten up, hit the ball the other way, just like Aaron Judge does. But because of that small ballpark, the ball. Got to get to a break.
Okay.
When we get back, we see you, Austin. We will get to you. And the question is, as presently constructed, can the Kings still get the first seed? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
This segment is brought to you by Light the World Giving Machine.
Hey, this is Travis Kelce, NFL tight end and proud member of the Lowe's home team. Lowe's knows when you've got the best price, you've already won. That's why we offer the lowest price guarantee. If you find a better price online or in-store, we'll match it. Now you can score on the top brands from the Lowe's home team picks, like Scotts, LG, and DeWalt. So take on your projects with confidence. Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retail partner of the NFL.
Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. in the heart, in the meat and potatoes of our Kings Roundtable.
It's like a GTA reference?
No, hold on. Frankie Cartoscelli, Brenden Nunes, our Sactown Sports Kings insider. And, I've kind of flipped Chris here to liking my Gus Johnson.
I actually love it.
Do
Gus
the real
Johnson.
one.
Okay.
Do the full thing.
Okay.
Please.
Cade McNamara in the swamp. He looks back. He's doing it himself. There it is. That's all I got.
Where does Cade McNamara play again?
Somewhere. I think he left Michigan.
Yeah.
I just feel like
the swamps of Michigan.
The swamps. It's always a swamp. It's always a swamp. Or you have, what else you have? Jaden. I was going to say, wait. Jaden McDaniels on the Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves,
Yeah. So you have Daniels in Death Valley. He drops back. That's all I got.
Wait, how far away is he from the mic when he's screaming? Because he's screaming.
Yeah.
I think they have a great audio engineer who just brings it down.
And it sounds like King Amari going to the basket.
A lot of mic pop filters.
Yeah,
probably like 3 of them just lined up.
He's speaking through a pillow, I think.
As we break down the Kings and whether or not we do a segment on this show, Chris is cracking up right now. We do a segment on this show called Beamin' or Dreamin'. You're beaming if you think that the Kings will be able to go further than they did last season. You are dreaming if you think that they can't. And real quick, light that thing up. Good. So
who's that? It's Draymond.
That's Draymond.
Oh,
on the pod. On the pod that we have.
Light it.
That we have not heard. Before I get my answers from you guys on whether you were beaming or dreaming, let's go to Austin, who's been hanging out during the break. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Austin? You got a question for the guys? What you got for us?
Quick question. Thank you so much. Wonderful show as always. So, a question regarding the Fox's speed. You know how, like in the NFL, you have Tyreek Hill's quick speed. My question, it might sound dumb, but why in the NBA is Fox's speed not pronounced when it comes to all the pundits on ESPN, NBA Live, whatever? You know, like it sounds like a stupid question, but Beeman, by the way, yeah, definitely. Sactown 916, we're going all the way. But why is De'Aaron Fox's speed not pronounced like it is in the NFL and other sports? Thank you, gentlemen.
It's a great question. We've talked about it on this show before, and I don't know if it would be the shuttle drill that they do, or there's when you see the NBA Combine on NBA TV, you're thinking this is cool, but there's no main 40-yard dash if you're talking football, or the 60 if you're talking baseball. There's no measure, I think, to start that would say, hey, De'Aaron is X, right? But I do feel like it got talked about more with Russell Westbrook, to be fair.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I go to what you're saying, that like there's no top speed that we can even compare to, like football when Tyreek's in the open field, ball in his hands, he's just sprinting and just all out.
They have 40s. Like you can clock their 40s.
De'Aaron has to maintain a dribble the whole time.
Right.
But where are the next gen stats of fastest player? Why I'm sure they're out there, but why aren't they promoted?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because basketball is more about high flyers and shooting threes. It's just not the same as speed isn't as important as it is in a football. It is
a way smaller
court. It's not that it's not as important. It's just not talked about as much.
I don't think we see Fox be able to get out. And I mean, he does it at least once or twice a game, I think, but that's the point. It's like once or twice a game. He gets out and just completely goes coast to coast for, a lay-in or a slam dunk, whatever you want to call it. But I think with Tyreek Hill and guys in the NFL, whether it be running backs, wide receivers, they break away, I think, a lot more often than guys in the NBA do. Because as far as, smaller playing surface, like we talked about, more defenders, more obstacles, more room to run the NFL. I'm not saying it's easier to break away from tackles but
100 yards.
You can go wide. You can go wide.
Right.
It's not happening in the NBA.
Sports science. You're moving as fast as a school bus on a Tuesday.
Breaking free in the NBA, I think, is a lot harder. Yeah. I think as far as just the small playing surface and the bodies that are taking the playing surface, like it's harder for Fox to get free and really put his speed on display. But when he does, it's a spectacle, and I think people really take notice of the fact that he is the fastest player in the NBA. Except I can't remember who
Maxey.
Someone, I think it was Keith Smith, said that someone's faster than. Was it was Maxey? It's faster than him now?
I think it was Maxey.
I don't know.
I would also say I think De'Aaron very rarely goes top speed anymore.
And he can't right now. I mean, he even says he's still being limited by his ankle right now. He said he was going to do a windmill dunk the other night against. I think it was Denver.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just can't right now with the. He's being cautious, but I mean, we're not even seeing him at his peak right now.
That's what I keep saying that the thing about the reason why I feel like it doesn't get talked about is because he doesn't really create highlights, as crazy as that is to say. Like, and I think we've talked about it before, but like his dunks, he doesn't dunk
a
lot.
Nerdy highlights.
Well, like I just like yesterday, I saw a highlight, I believe on House of Highlights, of Giannis dunking. Go only using one dribble.
That was absurd.
To go for, but he's nuts. You don't see that. Like you could use De'Aaron Fox in a similar highlight. It's just it doesn't feel like, to I think Frankie's point, like you very rarely, once or twice a game, do you really see that even used, and then he lays it in on the fast break. Like I think you could weaponize it or whatever you want to say. Like it just doesn't really happen enough, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have it.
Well, I think he's changed his play style. He even tweeted, I think it was last summer, how headband Fox went crazy or when he wore the bandana.
Yeah.
Because he was like, if you watch like those highlight reels of 2018-19 season, that was when he was breaking away full court and just completely windmilling on people. And that was also, I think, the same year he turned his ankle. The first ankle injury he suffered was that year. So I think we've seen him kind of evolve from being a high flyer or a highlight reel dunker into a guy who we've seen him. He's very good with the step back and he gets the mid range going, and he's still able to get into the paint and whatnot. But it's not quite with the explosiveness to that extent. It's still explosive, but not the I'm going to go and just completely dunk on two people. He has it in the bag.
He'll have like 5 a year. Like holy, like there were
he's had one this year so
last
far.
year.
Last year the dunks
on Okongwu, the one from the side with his left was ridiculous.
Kelly Olynyk one was crazy.
Just the NBA in general, their premium is more about vertical leaps, and you'll say he's got a 50-inch vertical leap just versus the speed factor. 916-339-1140. Let's get out to Emmy, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Emmy? What you got for us and the guys?
Hey guys, good morning. How are you? First of all, what is this rumor going on that Sasha may be traded? Please don't do that. A lot of people like him, and he needs definitely more minutes.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
No, thank you for the call, Emmy. Yeah, we talked yesterday, Chris and I did, about I'd throw him into the starting lineup. We actually didn't get.
I thought you were going to say I'd throw him into any trade.
No. And I know you said, Frankie, that people were being a little bit hard on Harrison Barnes, so I would love to get your take on it. But I mean, I get the whole game. Is it you can't see the whole game in the box score? But we're watching the games, right? It's not just that. And I just don't know how much you would truly lose depending on the team, right? I know Sasha could not handle a Zion or anything like that. I don't know how well Harrison did either, but I just don't know how much of a drop-off you'd actually see if you put Sasha Vezenkov in the starting lineup over Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I think we're closing in on, I'm not closing in, but I think the discussion is now, I think we're able to have it, that would it be the worst thing in the world if they switched it up and put Trey Lyles or Sasha in the starting lineup and had, HB come off the bench? Because I think a bench of Keon Ellis or Davion Mitchell with Malik Monk and Harrison Barnes off the bench, I feel like that's kind of enticing. And you kind of have that presence of veterans and people that know the offense, and maybe not as much of a drop off as what we've seen before. But I think Sasha's played well in the minutes that he's been out there. I think that he's been actually a little surprising as far as there hasn't been as many shortcomings on the defensive end. He's not a versatile athletic defender, but he's kind of crafty and just kind of knows how to be in the right spot at the right time, and has had a couple blocks that have been surprising too. And the shot looks good. Every time he shoots, I think it's going in. And I think that he definitely would be more comfortable.
He thinks it's going in too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. He's a madman in the best way possible.
Yes.
I love it. And they tell him, like, you better shoot it every single time. That's what you're out here for.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, TC, we see you. Hold on. Throughout the break, we'll get to you. We know you got a question for the guys. One more segment. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
This holiday season, create a fun and joyful memory for you and your loved ones. Come light the world and help those in need through the Giving Machine in the Roseville Galleria Mall, November 16th through December 10th. And in Modesto at Valley Fair Mall, December 11th through January 2nd. Choose from local charities serving your community or from global charities worldwide. Come feel the Christmas spirit at the Giving Machine. Learn more at givingmachine.greatersacramentomodesto.org.
At Jim Boy's Tacos, you get a ho lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a farm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boy's or order online at participating locations.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Christmas is in the air at Hanley's Kia. The season of giving back is bringing you an unbeatable deal on all 2024 Kia models. Drive home in style without breaking the bank. Introducing Hanley's Kia incredible leasing option for just $199 a month. Picture yourself behind the wheel of a brand new 2024 Kia, loaded with the latest features and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's the sleek Niro Hybrid with 54 mpg, an EV6 with up to 310 miles, the versatile Sportage, or the family-friendly Telluride. At Hanley's Kia, you can also reserve your luxurious full-size EV9 with 3 rows that has the comfort of a stylish interior and the peace of mind that comes with driving a brand you can trust. Head over to Hanley's Kia, the season of giving back today, located in Davis.
New 2024 Kia Niro Hybrid EX for $199 per month for 36 months after $7,999 customer cash due at signing plus $300 military customer rebate. 10,000 miles per year and 20 cents per mile after 30,000 miles based on sale price $30,545 and payment excludes taxes and DMV fees and any dealer fees. Vehicle ID number R5136138.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And I got to be honest here, you know, we'll have to pull the curtain back on this show. And this is actually an encore segment.
Bonus!
With the Kings Roundtable with Frankie, Cartoscelli, and Brenden Nunes. They got to run off to practice. And last week, we had an extra segment, and we had said oh, well, they're done, and they weren't really done.
Yeah.
Right? Or something like that.
Making
And
up for
now I said, oh, they're not done. And they look at me as we're going to break saying, oh, we're not done? They're not done yet. They're not
Job
done
ain't
yet.
finished.
There you go. Job ain't finished, because everybody loves when we do the Kings Roundtable, including our guy TC 916-339-1140, who wants to be a part of the conversation. TC, what you got for us and the Roundtable?
What's up, brother?
What's up? What you got for us, man?
Oh man, look, check it out. Hey, I got a trade proposal first though. So like first and foremost, I know fans, everybody gonna fan how they fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when we at the game and all that, as fans, hey, the bean chant gotta come back. It's been up and down with that situation. But also, when the team is on a run like the other night, I know it was a lot going on with that game, but leave the referees alone. You get what I'm saying? If we're on a run like that, the whole ref, you suck. I know everybody does it, but in my opinion, that we didn't get any calls after that. So like with the fans, like when we're up and the fans are like, ref, F you suck,
Yeah.
It throws them off, and we don't get any calls for that. But I can't tell everybody how to fan, but just as a Sacramento Kings fan, listen, you guys think about that. Also, on a trade proposal for Lauri Markkanen, I know the Jazz liked it, Harrison Barnes, and they were after Harrison Barnes. What do you guys think about? Would you guys give up Harrison Barnes and 2 first-round picks for Lauri Markkanen? Me personally, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Thanks for the call, TC. I will be honest before we get to the trade proposal, because Brenden, I can see by your face that you have thoughts. Yeah. I will be honest here. The ref you suck chant does make me uncomfortable. It makes me slightly uncomfortable. I got to be honest.
Can you explain?
Because you're just saying ref you suck, and you're screaming at this guy.
Do
and
better.
And I know I'm tinfoil hat, and TC is saying you didn't get calls after it. But if you were a ref, what would make you think, yeah, I do suck?
Now,
let me help out this home team.
I want a ref to hype up the
yes,
crowd.
I do too.
Yeah.
Draymond on the crowd. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If Draymond doesn't get, I mean, it doesn't
Tony
hurt
Brothers.
when Draymond, talks all that talk. Like it shouldn't matter when the crowd talks either.
I know.
It happens if you watch League Pass, it happens in every other
every
arena.
stadium,
in every sport,
arena,
in every sport. They're getting. I mean, it's the most unpopular job in sports is being an official, umpire, ref, whatever.
And they get paid well. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I've looked it up. They do well.
But
they do well. But it makes me uncomfortable.
No one's going to come out there and say, wow, they had a good game tonight, though. So I get, like, the thought process behind
so true.
The thought process behind the ref had a good game by Tony Brothers.
Right.
No one's going to come out there and say they had a good game. And that's unfortunate for them, but that's what they signed up for. But, I mean, I don't really fully back the being concerned about refs starting to call the game differently because fans are being, mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it wasn't an excuse because the Kings let that game get out of hand. Sure, there were a couple of weird calls, like Brenden did have a tweet which got some backlash about how he thought that the Fox call, when Fox got hit in the mouth and started bleeding, it was a foul on Fox.
It was.
By definition, yeah, you put 2 hands on someone's back, it's a foul. So it was. The fact that Fox is bleeding, though, it looks bad and it made people upset, and I get that completely. But the Kings let that game get out of hand on their own. They was it a 14-0 run to begin the second quarter from New Orleans, I think? That had nothing to do with the officials, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. I just had to say that. I mean, I guess I'm alone here. It just makes me uncomfortable. You're just kind of, chastising someone. I don't know. I'm just there. I'm just like,
you should have been there for the Marvin Bagley game last year.
Oh my goodness.
You want to feel like someone was singled
out.
That was
insane.
You want to feel an awkward environment.
I'm glad I was.
Too.
Yeah. But Brenden, I saw your face when TC threw out that trade proposal. What are your thoughts?
So Chris and I looked at each other because yesterday on the way out the building, we're kind of talking for a sec, and I think I literally presented the exact same trade to him.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's enough. It's probably not enough. I think maybe I said 3 firsts or whatever it is, but Lauri Markkanen is on a little bit of a different timeline than some of those other guys. I know they just got John Collins, even though he was practically free.
Right.
But Lauri Markkanen, 1 year left, and then next year he's a partially guaranteed. Like Danny Ainge is a guy that loves his future draft picks. Are you willing to do your 20? I think you can go to 31 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Say 2029 and 2030 swap or something. Like I think that could even be a little too much, but I think it's an interesting conversation, right? And I like that he brings it up because I feel like that name is never talked about, and it's going to be one of those type of guys. We mentioned the name Jimmy Butler yesterday, for example. Like, again, these are long shots, but things change so fast in the NBA. I think these are the type of guys that you should try to be thinking about.
Can you also explain because I can hear people yelling at their radio, you're just going to trade Harrison Barnes? He doesn't even have any value. Harrison Barnes has some value out there. And now it's not, of course, it's not going to be able to get you a star, but like he's not a negative value.
No, it would be what OKC did with Al Horford. I forget what the other side of that deal was, but like you bring in somebody and you kind of rehab their value a little bit and you sit and be patient and wait for a team like Milwaukee that you don't think Milwaukee would love to have Harrison Barnes instead of Malik Beasley as that 5th starter. Right. Like HB has value. And I don't think that number that he's at is like atrocious. Maybe it's a little high, but I think it's fine. And it's also really important to have a tradable salary on your team, right? Like when we're talking about these deals,
that's part of the reason
Harrison in there. Yeah.
They did the deal. And a lot of people said, well, why'd you bring Harrison back? It made sense to bring him back. Very similar. Teams do this all the time. And it wasn't necessarily their end game.
Warriors with D'Angelo Russell.
Warriors with D'Angelo Russell. Warriors with Jordan Poole. Right. Jordan. I mean, they knew at the time he had more value, but they found somebody. Washington did it. So you bring up the Bucks. I'm huge on Bobby Portis.
I didn't even know that.
I'm a big Bobby Portis guy.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah. I think Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis and Trey Lyles. That's the dog that you really need. So give me Harrison Barnes. You said Milwaukee because I think Jazz makes it.
Well. I'm talking in place of Malik Beasley. I think Bobby Portis might be better than. I don't know. I don't know if they'd swap HB for Portis. I don't know.
You're not high on Portis.
No, I don't mind Portis. I'm saying the Kings probably would. I don't know if
Milwaukee. Milwaukee. That's like their guy off the bench.
Throw Davion in there.
His value is very.
That's the questionable one for sure.
They'll throw him in a trade, but not in a game.
Come on now.
No, I think that the HB thing's interesting.
He'll get back in. That was just a bad joke.
Again, Harrison Barnes on the Kings might not be Harrison Barnes on their team because he might not be the 5th option whenever team trades for him because he is still. I mean, he's 31 years old and he's a guy that if we saw it when Keegan Murray was out, Harrison Barnes' numbers were great, not great, but for him, like 16 points per game. I think he was like on 40% shooting from 3. His volume increased. Like when he has more opportunities, he performs better. So if you put him on an opportunity like Utah and that happens, maybe the Jazz get a guy that can kind of have as a veteran presence where they kind of have a youth movement. But I think Markkanen's a guy that is intriguing to keep an eye on because Utah, they're not having a very good start to the year. I just wonder how much it would cost because I think Markkanen's controllable. I think he has another year in his contract.
He has one more and it's a non-guaranteed, but I'm sure.
That might change things. I don't know. I mean, maybe
partially guaranteed.
A Davion, HB, and a couple first-round picks. Maybe that gets it done. I mean, that's a move where it's not really going for a versatile defender, but a guy who's offensively talented and can maybe
size.
Yeah,
makes
size.
Bigger,
yeah. He's not like a OG Anunoby. Those are two different completely players, but I mean, it's an all-star caliber forward that I think would fit in well with this offense.
It also could potentially alleviate your backup center problem also, where you could just stagger those two and you could probably run Laurie at the backup center when Domas isn't out there.
Yeah, what do you mean problem? Have you watched JaVale McGee?
Hey, man.
JaVale is
this
good
your last segment?
JaVale is good.
Y'all gotta go.
A couple minutes left here. Guys, let's say nobody does anything. Let's say the Kings just stand pat, kind of full circle how we started this conversation. They don't have to do anything right now. I felt like a genius at some points during this season, and right now I don't, which is funny that the Kings just beat the defending champs, and that's how much I think the in-season tournament actually mattered, because we came in here and did a show yesterday, and it was sad. It was sad, and you were in the locker room, and you were in the post-game presser. It was sad, right? I think it matters, and not to be too much prisoner of the moment here, but if they don't make a move, do you think it is possible for the Kings, and this goes back to beaming or dreaming, whether you're essentially beaming or dreaming or not, do you think the Kings can get the first seed as presently constructed? One seed.
The number one overall seed in the Western Conference.
I'm going to say unlikely. That doesn't mean the Kings are a bad team or they're not going to finish high in the Western Conference. I mean, right now, among the noise, which is loud, again, as we talked about, after losses, they're still they're 5th in the West right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5th in the West right now. So that's, not horrible compared to what
for a team that
nobody's going on a run yet.
Nobody's played their best basketball.
Yeah, you lost Aaron Fox 5 games. You lost Keegan Murray, who's still battling injuries. You have to hope that's not serious. We're going to see if he's practicing today and if he came out of the other game on Monday's game all right. But We have not seen them firing on all cylinders yet. We really haven't seen them. We've seen what it looks like when they are in pieces, but they put together a good winning streak. And outside of that, they've lost to a lot of the similar faces like the Warriors and the Pelicans. Let's see them play, the rest of the field, which they need to still kind of do and go from there. But I do think when you look at the Denvers, I think they're going to figure it out. Minnesota seems like they're not going to slow down. I mean, they're playing really good basketball, and the NBA schedule makers gave them 2 easy games this week with them not making the in-season tournament. I can't remember who they're playing. I think they might be playing Utah. And another easy team they're playing. Oh, the Spurs tonight. So they're going to play San Antonio.
And Warriors at the Blazers.
Warriors the Blazers. So yeah,
3 days of rest.
Kings shouldn't have made the knockout round.
So what you're saying is they're incentivizing not making the in-season tournament. So maybe that changes things.
Brenden?
It's a long shot probably, but like I guess it's somewhat within reach. Like I think they lived off their offense last year, and I think there's been defensive progress. I think another part of the offense is like you're just not surprising anybody anymore. Everybody has a full scouting report. So you need to bring out those counters, and they're being developed, but like it's hard they'd have to go on a big run at some point. And to me, it's like, I guess we'd probably be talking about like post-trade deadline and you added somebody and it clicked right away. Like it's a long shot for me.
There you go. All right. Well, you're saying there's a chance.
Kings have only lost to 4 teams this year.
It's true.
Even still.
When are we going to, that's like when we were naming, that's like when we were numbering the shows. When are we going to stop doing that? What's the number?
Stops being true.
Was he going to get to 5?
No, I think 5's too many. No.
I think
5's, then you're just saying things.
5's the line.
5 is definitely
the line.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks, guys.
4.
Sactown Sports Kings Insider. Speaking of 4, that was our Kings Roundtable. We do it every Wednesday. Thank you to Brenden Nunes. Thank you to Frankie Cartoscelli. Got to run.